Have you ever seen a car full of passengers, but someone else is driving? That's what many say about Indonesia's economy. The car? That's Indonesia. Over 270 million people, a rich land full of natural resources, culture, and youthful energy. But the one holding the steering wheel? Often, it's not the native Indonesians, but a much smaller group, ethnic Chinese Indonesians. Although they make up only about 1 to 2% of the population, Chinese Indonesians reportedly control more than 70% of Indonesia's private economy. From retail to real estate, banking to manufacturing, this small community has an outsized influence on the country's financial engine. So how did this happen? And what does it mean for the people riding in the back seat? Let's break it down. Historically, Chinese migration to the Indonesian archipelago goes back centuries, through trade routes, colonial roles, and labor. During Dutch colonial rule, the Chinese community was often given special positions as intermediaries between the Dutch and native Indonesians. This led to opportunities in commerce, which became the foundation of wealth and business acumen. Fast forward to today, many of Indonesia's largest and most influential conglomerates are owned by Chinese Indonesian families. Names like the Salim Group, the Lipo Group, and the Sinar Mas Group are household names in the business world. These companies control banks, supermarkets, property empires, and tech platforms. Meanwhile, the majority of native Indonesians, especially in rural areas, continue to work in agriculture, transportation, construction, or small-scale trading. In other words, they keep the engine running, but they're rarely in the driver's seat. You can see this dynamic everywhere. A local street vendor buys inventory from a wholesale supplier owned by a Chinese Indonesian company. A delivery driver works long hours for an e-commerce app owned by another Chinese Indonesian conglomerate. Even government contracts and infrastructure projects often involve Chinese-backed capital. But here's the twist. This isn't just about ethnicity. It's also about education, opportunity, and a mindset that values long-term business building. Many Chinese Indonesian families emphasize financial literacy, passing down business networks, and reinvesting wealth. Meanwhile, systemic inequality and limited access to capital have made it harder for native Indonesians to compete on equal footing. Still, this dominance has created tension throughout history. Anti-Chinese sentiment has flared up during economic crises, often unfairly blaming the minority for the struggles of the majority. The 1998 riots in Jakarta are a painful reminder of how deep and dangerous these divisions can become when resentment builds. But let's be honest, the real issue isn't just about who owns what. It's about inclusion, balance, and building a system where economic opportunity is shared more equally. That means better education, fairer access to capital, and encouraging entrepreneurship across all backgrounds. Indonesia is a rising power, full of potential. But if the economy continues to be driven by just one group, the rest will always feel like passengers in their own country. So what can be done? It starts with awareness, recognizing who's behind the wheel and asking if we're okay with that. Then, it's about building better systems where every Indonesian, regardless of a background, has a real chance to drive the future. If this gave you a new perspective, don't let it end here. Hit that subscribe button for more stories that uncover what really drives economies, cultures, and power in Asia. Let's keep asking bold questions and finding smart answers together. Thanks for watching. And remember, it's time for everyone to have a turn at the wheel.